Once I have 30 rows done, I'm going to do decreases all the way across by putting the first needle stitch onto the second needle, and then I go over and I get this third one, move this stitch onto the fourth needle. So you see I'm getting rid of half the stitches. I'm putting them on every other needle. So the needles that remain have 2 stitches on them, and the needles that I've decreased off of are being pushed all the way back out of work. I'm going to do that all the way across. At the far left end I have 1 extra stitch, but you can see that what I've done is just put the stitches doubled up on every second needle. It's also important, before I continue on, that I take one of the cards out of the kit and I make sure that all the needles that are out of work are pushed all the way back. Now sometimes when you need to knit off 2 stitches at a time, it works a little better to get the needles out to hold and the stitches behind the latches. And then you can come along with the yellow card and the green card. Use the yellow card to figure out the spacing and the green card to push back. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit 6 rows at this tighter stitch size, and then I will almost have the hat finished. Here I am on the right hand end, and let me demonstrate how this is done. You're just going to tug this down. After you get down 6 rows, then instead of 1 stitch unraveling, you have 2 unraveling because of the way these were doubled up. And you want to rip it down. You can go fast until you get down close to the ribbing, and then you need to slow down because you don't want to unravel any of the ribbing. When I get down close to the ribbing, what I do is I support the ribbing with one hand and I pop out that last thread. Down at the ribbing, I take the latch tool and I poke it in the 2 live stitches at the ribbing so that they are secured on this latch tool. See that? There's 2 stitches on the latch tool. Then I pick up 2 loops and pull through those 2 stitches. And then of course if you did the scarf, you've seen this before, I just grab 2 and pull 2 through 2 and work my way up. This gives the decorative cable, and it also helps to give the very nice taper to the top of the hat without a tremendous amount of work in decreasing all across. When I get up to the top, then the loops are smaller because I had done those decreases, and I also changed to a tighter key plate, but I do the same thing. 2 through 2. When I get to the very top, I push in and I catch one of the needle hooks and I do this. I pop the stitches onto it. That's how I finish that. Then I'm ready to start ripping down the next one. So I will go ahead and latch these up off camera. When it's all latched up, it looks like this. And I'm going to take a couple of feet of yarn and I will thread that into a tapestry needle and take the stitches off the machine. Take one of the tools or even the card and hold the needles forward while pushing the stitches back behind the latches. This will make it really easy to pick the stitches off onto the threaded tapestry needle. I take the threaded tapestry needle and I insert it in a stitch and just pop it right off the end of the needles. And I can collect several of them on the tapestry needle before I pull the yarn on through, and then collect up some more. After the stitches are taken off the machine onto the thread, this is what you have, and I'm going to pull this up tighter later. I also need to get the knitting off of the cast-on bar, and the way that I do that is I take my scissors and I'm going to cut the first row of the waist yarn. I just want to be careful that I get the right thread and not the actual hat. So I've cut the waist yarn, and I can grab that thread and I can pull it out. This gets the hat off the comb. Now that the hat's off the comb, I'll just stretch it vertically a little bit to make the stitches more of their natural shape. What I'll have to do is I'll have to tighten the top of the hat, and I typically sew all the way around the circle again, and then I will mattress stitch using the same yarn. I will mattress stitch down one side of the hat, and that will finish the hat. Well, here's that colorful scarf, and here's the hat to match with it. You can fold this cuff up or leave it down, whatever you prefer. The hat has a nice taper at the top. It takes less than a skein of yarn to make, and it doesn't take a lot of time to complete the hat. So I hope you'll give it a try. I don't block these hats. I like to leave them springy.